What did you find were the biggest challenges for you, Greg, when you're, filming Guns of Eden, and above and beyond the challenges of just what's typical for making an indie film?
Well, first of all, as a producer, the most important thing that I do, aside from raising money, is putting together the right team of people. And I fill the crew positions the same way I cast roles. I consider the person's personality, what I know about them, what they show on social media. I interview them. So I don't really have some of the problems that you pinpointed at the start of that question. If you put together the right crew of people, you all work together, you work harmoniously, you look out for each other, you follow the rules. And I was really the first film, Guns of Eden was really the first film to shoot in Buffalo in the wake of this pandemic. A few big ones had shot and shut down just in time before the industry shut down. But there was a lot of excitement because of that people were able to get before the camera, behind the camera again. So everybody cooperated in terms of that. You have to wear masks when you're indoors.
Yeah.
We did not force masks when we're outdoors because it's predominantly safe to do that. Yeah. Plenty of hand washing stations and hand sanitizer, and people looking out and calling the rules, reminders. We never had an instance where someone seemed to be violating the rules. And we had Zoom meetings beforehand and tons of emails. We didn't have any in-person meetings with the crew, but everybody knew what was expected of them, so that wasn't an issue. To the heart of your question, once I'm making a film, that's all there is. So I'm thinking of all the different facets every minute of the day. And in this case, Tamara was only on set about a third of the time. She had to be home with her daughter. Yeah. I had a good assistant director and my director of photography, because he was also doing visual effects, and a production manager who was really in charge of delivering the safety items that we use and keeping an eye on things. So we were really the team that had to do everything, but I'm riding on top of everything, and what I say goes at the end of the day. And I am the one who has to make the compromises. And this happens on every film I do. Right. Every filmmaker will say the chief problem is you just don't have the time to do everything that you want the way you want. So you should pick and choose what you spend extra time on and what you have to cut short. And inevitably, by the end of the day, I'm cutting lines of dialogue. I'm combining shots that I had in my head. I'm just doing what I have to so we can finish at a decent time. I typically work 12-hour days, which should be an 11-hour shoot day and an hour to wrap. Never works out that way. It's always a 12-hour day and then an hour to wrap. And I promised people we wouldn't go longer than that. And there were probably 2 days where we actually went an hour beyond that, which is not unusual in the business, but it's unusual for me. And that's just because so many actors in this film, so many costumes that had needed constant adjustment. And we had, we must have had 100 prop guns on this film, non-firing prop guns. And obviously in the wake of the Alec Baldwin shooting, now everyone's taking it very seriously. And nobody's taking it seriously the way we did. Our production designer held a safety meeting for every weapon. Demonstration, everyone gets to inspect it, gets passed around. Imagine that happening with 20 different people. You get a gun, a handgun, you get a rifle, you get a handgun, and you get a machine gun. And then every time you break for lunch, every time someone has to leave set, they have to leave the weapon behind, and we go through it all over again. So by the end of day 4, everyone knew by heart what the production designer was going to say when he did the safety drill. But we did them over and over. Nobody complained. It was sort of a running joke, but everybody knew that it was for their safety, just like wearing the masks.
Right.
After that incident with Alec Baldwin, so many people messaged me or commented, "Oh, now I get it. Thank you for doing that." And I learned that working on Chris Ray's films. Right before the pandemic, I was the assistant director on Assault on VA 33. Yep. We used a lot of those same prop weapons that are used in that film, and the production designer had handled the weapons on that. And he and I, as the AD, he and I had to work with that stuff together, and that's one of the main reasons why I hired him, because we had that working relationship already. We knew what was expected, and we both knew those weapons.
Perfect.